everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ground Up with Natalie. Today, I have my dear friend, Shannon Dang. We have known each other for 8 years. We signed up for the same acting class when we were 20 years old, and now we're both working actors. And she is one of the leads on a huge CW show called Kung Fu. So we're pretty much going to talk about all the ins and outs of pursuing an acting career and the trials and tribulations that go along with that. So definitely stay tuned. And we are produced by Mastermind Media. So everyone, we have my dear friend Shannon Dang on the podcast today. I am so excited to be here interviewing you. Well, not really interviewing you, but chatting with you. A lot about what we talk about today, I feel like are going to be things that we chat about on the phone all the time, or for the past 8 years we've known each other. It's going to be just like bits and pieces, right? 8 years?
Has it been 8 years?
I feel like.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, when did you start at Leslie Con?
Probably around 2016.
16? Yes.
Has that?
Yeah.
Where does time go?
So if it's 20, so wait,
look at us.
maybe 7 years. Yeah, something like that.
Maybe 6, 7. Yeah. Oh, babies.
Babies.
Now we're grown.
Now we're grown and we're doing what we're
doing
set out to do, which we'll definitely get into. Okay. So Shannon, at the beginning of every episode, I ask everyone the same 3 questions called the Ground Up 3. So I want to know, Shannon, where are you from?
I am born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I know that's kind of like a unicorn here in the entertainment industry. Like everyone comes from somewhere, but yes, Pasadena.
Nice. Ooh, Pasadena. I love Pasadena.
Woo, woo.
So
Rose
much
Bowl.
space over there.
It is nice.
Like you get to go to the grocery store and actually pull into a parking lot and park rather than like go through a parking garage. I hate parking
No,
garages.
that's till this day, I think I blame my driving skills and my high maintenance of parking needs based on the suburbs. And my parents are still out there, so
Nice.
I go back and steal toilet paper all the time.
Oh my God, that's so nice. See, my parents are a little further, still in Orange County, but Pasadena's at least you can like drive 20 minutes and 25.
Stock
and go
up
back.
on all the toilet paper, paper towels.
That's nice. Okay, what was your first? I want to know what your first job was. Like, not in the industry, unless
Not
it was
in the industry. Funny. Okay, so my first job in the industry was a commercial. I was about 3 years old.
Oh,
I know, crazy. For this home insurance commercial, and that's where I first got my SAG card. I don't even remember what I did, but we have it somewhere.
stop, baby
know,
Shannon
baby
in a little insurance commercial.
I know. All I had to do was like cross over a couch and like sit on my dad's lap and pretend that he like read a newspaper to me, and like
So it wasn't really your dad, right?
actually it really was my dad.
Wait.
Okay,
they
funny
hired
story.
Both of you?
Because my dad would always take me to my auditions, and so they were looking for the kids, and they liked me, and they were like, "Wait, your dad looks great with you."
Yeah.
They brought my dad in,
Oh, wow.
and they were like, "Can you do this with your daughter?" And then we both got booked.
Wait, that is really cute.
know.
Also, like, but the fact that your dad is taking you to your audition sounds so cute.
Yeah.
So I don't know this about you. Did you act ever since you were 3? And also, was your SAG card that you have now the same one from when you were 3? Or did you have to like renew it?
No, it's the same one.
Whoa.
So I've been, yes.
So you had to pay like $20 for your SAG card.
I didn't even pay. My parents pay. I got for free. I mean, blessed, thankful. Yeah. Because then I know like it's expensive.
Yeah, I paid $3,000,
Eek.
but that
so
was,
sorry.
I know, but it was 6 years ago. So I feel like
Now it's probably more.
now it's probably more.
Inflation, man.
Okay, so that was your first real job then, literally.
Okay, but like I wasn't like working in my mind. Like I ran somewhere. Long story short, my grandpa and his grandfather, they were the first business owners to come to LA Chinatown. So back in the day when Hollywood was looking for Asian actors, or not even actors because they weren't hiring Asian actors unless you were martial artists, when they were looking for Asian people to be in the background of their movies, like Godzilla, whatever, all that stuff, they would go to Chinatown and look for people. So ever since then, my grandpa, at the age of like maybe 5, he started being in movies and black and white films and everything. I know, right? So crazy. So like fast forward to later, it kind of like inspired his children, which is my mom and her brother's generation, to see entertainment as a possibility. Because, usually in stereotypical Asian households, it's like, it was never encouraged.
No.
But for my mom, she was like, yeah, put our kids in commercial work. Like, let's get them an agent.
Really?
It wasn't that articulate as for, like, she didn't know what to do. But she was like, there's a world for this. So then me and my cousins grew up doing commercials. And we didn't really know what we were doing.
Yeah.
We just booked it because it was like, smile.
Yeah, it was
So
fun.
That was
Wow,
my
I
first
did
job.
not know that. That is really cool.
Yeah.
So the fact that you actually became inspired by all of this and actually wanted to be an actor is also unique, right? Because you could have just been like, oh, that was fun as a kid, but I actually love, I don't know, I want to be a doctor or something, which is probably the stereotypical what a lot of people in your family were meant to do. Is like, was it like doctor, lawyer, failure? You know what I mean? Like one of the three.
Honestly, I feel pretty lucky because it wasn't. I feel like because all my cousins started doing acting when we were little, like in commercial work, it was kind of like, yeah, you guys can do this. And anything else was like bonus. Of course, go to school.
Right.
Maybe you can't make a living off of it, but it was fun and like get your feet out. Like how exciting. Because
Yeah.
your grandpa did that.
Wow.
I stepped away for a while because I realized I didn't like it. Like as you kind of get like a conscious when you're older and
Yep.
you're like, I don't like this. And you're like nervous and you're like, why are these people talking to me on a camera? And like,
Right.
I'm embarrassed and I'm shy. And I was like, nah, I'll just dance because I love dance.
So cut to in high school, you keep dancing. Now are you like wanting to do professional dancing? Because I know you were a professional dancer for many years. So you were a Rams cheerleader. And what I find so cool is like, okay, as actors, we have day jobs, right? And most typical day jobs are like servers, maybe, because it doesn't, come into it, like you work at night and you can still audition during the day. But your day job was dancing, which I think is so cool and so fun. So I want to know how you got into professional dancing. Did you audition? Like, was it easy? Was it hard? Did it pay your bills okay?
Ooh. So yeah, I was dancing my whole life. And then I remember at 13, my mom secretly took me to a dance audition because she saw Allison Stoner and like Missy Elliott. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's kids that are dancing.
Yeah.
I'm like, my daughter can do this. Like, wouldn't you want to do this? And like, of course, we like loved her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're like, okay. So she took me to for the WNBA Sparks Los Angeles hip hop troupe dance team. And they were looking for kids to perform during their halftime shows. And she didn't want to tell me about it because I would have just said, no, no, no. She took me to it. And that was the first time I saw a bunch of kids dancing and like they all had agents. I didn't have an agent.
Yeah.
They all looked like they knew each other and they were just so LA. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was super intimidating. But I ended up making the team after like a whole day of cuts. And I remember being like, wow, this is so exciting. Like, you mean people do this? Like, I never had to audition for anything that I wanted. Like when you're a little kid, you don't understand that. But dance, I was like, I want this. So I did that. And that was the first time I was like, wow, like you could do this and like outside of school. And then I remember in high school, my dream job in my yearbook was to be a Laker girl. And people thought that was kind of silly. I mean, because it wasn't a real job. Like everyone was like, lawyer, whatever. And I felt kind of silly being like, I want to be a Laker girl.
But you unapologetically did.
I
You're
know.
like,
I was like, is that bad?
So
So
you
then,
write it down all, isn't that crazy? Okay, wait, this is such a good, like you write that down confidently, right? Like your authentic self is like Lakers girl, da-da-da. And then it's like you look up and everyone's laughing, right? And you're like, wait, did I do something wrong? And everyone's like, you want to be, and then that's how, like, it's almost like a metaphor for the way that society primes us to start acting the way that they want us to act, right? And start dimming our lights and
that
stuff.
judgment. And so once you say it out loud, then all of a sudden you feel like you have to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise it looks like you failed or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then so I went to college and someone in like the dance department decided to bring me to the Clippers audition for the NBA. And I was like, oh, I could never do that. Like, I'm only 19. Like, that's for grown women. Like, what? That's crazy. And then she took me and then I ended up making it, which was crazy because I had no idea what the heck I was doing. I just loved dance.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
You'd
the
been dancing
glam.
your whole life, though.
Yes.
You were really good at it.
But the girls like were full on hair and makeup, false eyelashes. I was like, what is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the bra tops and the sparkles. And I was like, I wore a real bra. And I had no idea. And like the wrong color tights. I mean, this, you had to have seen it, but it was
Oh no, I can picture it.
it was really bad. But like, so I made it. And then I did 3 years of NBA with the Clippers and then 3 years of NFL with the Rams. And I loved it. It was so fun. But I realized I think at a certain point, acting was calling my name. I always wanted to see once I graduated college. I was like, oh, I think I want to go back.
Wow.
So dancing has always been part of my life, but I always had acting in the back of my mind of like, what would that look like if I come back? Because I'm graduating soon and I can't make a living off of dance. I realized I was like, I'm not that good. Like I can't do that. I don't have the hustle.
Right. Okay. So it's a good segue though to like go from dancing into acting. I feel like. So when you graduated college, you were 22? You did 4 years of college. What did you
I
go
did like
for?
5.
Okay.
Super senior year because I also wanted to study abroad.
Nice.
I took a victory lap.
Yeah. What did you study?
Business marketing.
Wow. Oh,
I always joke that I'm like, great, that was an expensive degree that I'm not using. But really business helps with everything. Like you're doing it now and
no, with acting, we are our own business.
Yes. So it worked out.
I'm sure you're taking tools from it. Like no regrets. I mean, and studying abroad, all the people that you met, dancing for those years, sounds like fun. I have this so I didn't go to college, but I have this, my cousin who actually he went to school with in Pasadena.
Yes.
She went to TCU and she gave me a tour of her college once. And when I tell you that like, I had this, like I had just chills up my body. I don't know why. I was like, whoa. First of all, TCU is like very specific and like a beautiful campus. But I was like, this is someone's life. Like you did this, you lived here for 4 years. Like it's stunning. And like you had your friends, it was definitely something where I was like, a little envious of, and it's definitely something that I want to play in a show.
Yeah.
And whenever I booked like a high school role, I was like so excited. I was like,
vicariously living.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, okay, I get to live this through a character. But no regrets,
What's interesting, I always, and I know this about you / listen to your podcast, and you always talk about how you didn't go to college. And sometimes it's so easy for us versus I went to college and like, instead of pursuing entertainment, like acting during those things or going to school and getting a theater degree because that's what everyone else is doing. It's so easy for us to like look back in hindsight and be like, I should have done this, or I regret this if only this. But like, I do think that like you are where you are today,
of course,
because of that. And like same here. Like as much as I'm like, but if I didn't go to college and do to dance, like all those friends I have, and I think that tenacity of professionally dancing really did contribute to like acting and like why I thought this could be a viable career is because I already did it via dance. So it was
and
really
the discipline that you must have had for dance really carried over into acting as well.
I think that definitely helped. Yeah.
Is there much rejection in dance as much as there is in acting?
Yes, I love dancers. I don't think dancers get enough credit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's a whole nother world. So dance, like acting, like you have agents and agencies as well. And it is definitely a hierarchy where you have to put your reel together. You have to go to all these classes to start becoming friends with choreographers, and you're going to all these cattle calls and you have to stand out. It's like putting yourself out there, learning your freestyle, putting like auditioning all the time, a couple times a week in a room that's like this. And like, how are you supposed to like
a sardine in there?
You're a sardine in there. You can't see. You're half naked, walking around in North Hollywood because you parked this way to go. It's like the same as acting. You got your headshots in there, and like for what? For a few seconds, and then you try to like for the next audition, and then you just. It's a lot of no's, and then unless you're trying to book a tour, and then that's maybe longevity. So that's like your series regular when you're like booking a tour or a residency. And it's like, finally stability. But then it's hard on your body. It's like you have to be in the industry for X amount of time before choreographers you can be on their like roster of just like automatic bookings. It's a whole nother thing. And
wow, you're right. They don't get enough credit.
They don't. And their bodies are being sacrificed.
Right.
And then even
it's
if
vulnerable.
It's vulnerable. You book a TV and you can only last so long. Your body, unless you're going to become a choreographer, there's only so many times you can like years you can slay your body onto the floor and
That's
be
such
like,
a good point.
I can't make a living off
Yeah.
of this. I was not cut out.
Because technically for acting, you can go until you're 100 years old.
That's one of the things that made me switch, is because I remember I was on a dance job. It was East Los High.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yes, I got to work with Twitch. And like at the time, it was So You Think You Can Dance. Oh, rest in peace. I love, he was such an amazing spark of joy.
Yeah.
But I remember like fangirling over him. And but that was a dance production and I was a dancer, but then they had actors
On a show.
and
Yeah.
then there was actors, and I remember thinking like, wow, I love dancing, but like, oh, that looks fun, like they're pretending over there. I want to be over there someday, you know what I mean, on the other side. And then like cut to a couple of years later, it was like I was working on a project where there was dancers and then I was the actor, and it was like I had this serendipitous moment of like, I tried not to cry. I was like, wow, this is beautiful. Like just a couple of years ago I was on that side thinking like I would love to pursue and try to see what that looks like. And like, and I
Wow.
love dancers. So now like if I'm on a project with dance, I would love to be on a project and have my own where I can employ dancers. Honestly, that's like a dream job for
Okay,
me.
putting it out there. We're
Thank you.
manifesting
Yes,
that right
we're
now.
manifesting creating a project where I can employ lots of dancers.
Yeah. Wow. That is so cool to hear your story about all of that. So, so then you start auditioning and you were like kind of, your heart was like done with dancing. You're like, thank you so much for everything you had to offer. And I'll do it on my, like outside of acting, like as a hobby, but you're like, I'm going to pursue this new endeavor of acting.
Yeah, I think it was like a mix. I stopped the agency route because I was like, this is too hard. I just want to dance. I love dance, but I can't make a career out of
Right.
it. That's why I was happy to do the dance teams. Like that's when I found the Rams, when I was like, oh, great. I love friendship and having teammates, and I love sports, and I love the consistency of like a couple practices a week, and it was stable.
Stability.
I
yeah.
didn't need to make a living off of dance.
No.
I just wanted dance to be part of my life, and I got amazing friends with it that are still friends with me till this day.
Yeah. Your family. I know you have your dance family.
Yes. So that's when I was pursuing acting during it. But I think at some point I would be distracted during practice and thinking about my auditions and tomorrow. And I was like,
Yes.
I think
I
that's when
remember this
pulled-
stage.
Mhm.
I remember you were rushing to dance. You were like trying to move around auditions if the time and date couldn't work. And you were, I mean, I could imagine you were probably missing some dance practices. I remember at the same time I was doing, I was modeling
Mhm.
to try to make money.
Mhm.
And then, which I feel like I blocked that out of my life. I have never talked about the fact that I literally modeled for like 6 years.
Is this you just
It is completely, I think it's because I never really like made it. Like I went to every open call agency in LA because on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays from like 3 to 4, like Ford, IMG, like Wilhelmina, all these modeling agencies had open calls. I went to every single one of them, probably twice. Never got signed, called back, anything. So I was like, okay. So I would email clothing companies and be like way before influencing. And I'm like, hey, I'd love to model for you. I charge $30 an hour. So I was like making nothing. But my point is I was like rushing throughout the day to like go to my shoot to try to make a little bit of money. And then if I get an audition, I'm like, fuck, because that trumps everything.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I remember one time I had an audition early, like 10 a.m. and my shoot started at 10 a.m. And I'm such a bad liar. And I called the shoot and I was like, I got a flat tire. Like,
Natty.
I know. And so I get to the audition so early, you know, and then you're anxious there.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm like, I have a shoot after this. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then anyways, but yeah, so I know about the changing in the
The
car.
hustling, you
and
live
the-
out of a car, you're
Yeah.
eating on the road.
yeah, all of that stuff. So that's what you were doing. And I remember this part because we became friends. You started in acting class and everything. So you and I are 21 and we are in pursuit of an acting career. And I know that we have the exact same vision at the time, which is we want to be the leads of a fun teen drama show, right? Would you say that's correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Specifically, I remember back then, and I've said this on like all my episodes, mine was like CW and Freeform and Netflix and stuff like that. And now it's changed a little bit. You know, I'm like, ooh, HBO, like let's get Hulu. But so tell me about we'll skip all the how you got an agent and a manager. You already had experience of doing all of that. So I want to go to the part where like you're auditioning and you're getting close on things and you're not booking. I remember that year where you tested for like 2 shows
Mhm.
and then nothing, call back, nothing. You know, I mean, it's got to be hard. That rejection, that getting so close for years. It's not like this happened over 2 years. It's like this is, I mean, how many years did you audition before you booked your first speaking role as like a guest star? And then how many years before you booked your series regular role that you have now?
At the time, my dance agency had a small theatrical department. And you know how it's really hard to find someone to rep you theatrically.
Yeah.
And so they were like, yeah, we'll do that for you. And then I was like, oh, because I was already a dancer. So they submitted me on a bunch of stuff. I think it was maybe less than a year, but like literally all I said was, welcome back, so-and-so.
Wait, were you a hostess?
Yes, I was a hostess.
I saw it on your IMDb.
Oh my gosh.
It was like sushi hostess.
Yes. I was sushi hostess. You couldn't even see my face. It was from a distance. You could see my heels,
Yeah.
my entire outfit from the street. That's how far away it was.
Oh
But
my
you know
God,
what?
I'm dead.
I was living. I was like, yes,
you're like,
I'm an actress.
Yes. Oh my God, I love it.
Anyway.
You got your first taste and
Yes.
you're like, okay, I want to be the, what, you know, because you were in the green room with all the leads and stuff.
I was actually, unfortunately, it was like in a parking lot because I got a location that day. So I remember being next to a dumpster in my chair and like it's hot. You know what I mean?
So glamorous.
Yeah, so glamorous. But I was like, I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to deliver this line like no other.
And I know you. You're such a perfectionist.
Oh.
You practiced that line.
I practiced
before
that
you-
line. I had said it so many different ways. It was the best.
That's what you got to do. That work ethic, man.
So maybe that was like the first year. And I don't know the timeline, to be honest, but I booked my first series regular maybe it was 2020. So what is that?
Well, when it, 2015 to 5 years, 4 or 5 years.
4 years
of
Yeah.
auditioning.
Yeah. So I
Wow.
was auditioning starting like 2016. Yeah. 4 years. And I remember still till this day, you know, they always say like, what's right for you will always like never go by you. And I didn't really understand that because I remember calling you all the time. Like we'd get so close to things and just be depressed and be like, I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
like we feel like the failures and
It's
terrible
me.
things.
Do I
It's me.
smell? What's wrong with me?
And I think something that has helped me until this day, I struggle with it. But one thing that's helped me is say I'm a strawberry. And like sometimes you can't help it, but they're just going to be looking for apples. And like as much as you try to be an apple, you're still a strawberry. Like there's going to be an apple out there that is just naturally an apple. You can be a strawberry and be like, I can be apple-y, juicy as whatever. So when they need an apple and you're a strawberry, it's out of your control. All you can do is be the best strawberry that you can be. They're going to remember that. And when they need a strawberry, and be like, that was a really damn good strawberry. And so you have to find power in that and just knowing this is what it is, and I'm just gonna be a good strawberry.
This is who I am. I'm gonna be the ripest, fucking reddest strawberry that I can be.
So when it's strawberry season, we are ready.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. So that
That's
helps.
so true. That's
Yeah.
lovely because then I'll never forget at Leslie, one of the teachers, Lila, she told me, you have to bring your special sauce to every audition. And back then I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And I remember thinking like, yeah, you're a working actor, like whatever. I'm in this tunnel vision on trying. But what she was saying was like, if you don't bring Natalie to every single audition, unless you're method acting, then they're going to look at you and be like, yeah, but she's just like every other person that came in here. You have to give your special sauce. So if you're a strawberry, be that person. Be in the right circumstance, the right genre, the right time, the right place. But you have to bring you to it or else they're going to, go with that other.
Authentic other fruit that they're looking for.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you try to be a fake fruit,
It's not going to work.
It's not
That's
gonna
so
work.
true.
Yeah.
You can't be a synthetic
Yeah.
piece of fruit.
I think something that made me realize that also too was when I booked Kung Fu, because I think they didn't say much about the breakdown, I remember at the time. And they just said that she's a tech savvy genius that is getting married. And I was like, okay. And that was the first time where I felt empowered to be a version of Shannon. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And I remember actually reading the pilot and the audition in class, and people were just like, even Leslie was like, I've never seen something fit so well onto you. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, really? Thank you. Because it did feel natural. And so it kind of clicks when you know,
When
like
you know.
people see it. I remember everyone in class was like, wow, that was crazy. And then I end up, they saw me like testing for it and like, and down the road booking it. And it was like, that's crazy because then you see when things are aligned. Like you know it aligns. People can see it, and it's like you have to trust in that process.
Right. And it probably took you so long, like it does for me, like it did for me to get there, to get that confidence of being like tech savvy. I'm not going to act like a tech savvy, traditional. I'm going to put Shannon's spin on it. And I also do tech. I'll never forget at Leslie Con too. This always sticks with me. In the intensive, they asked, what are beautiful girl thoughts? Remember?
Oh my gosh.
And everyone's like, what am I wearing today? And do I have perfume on? And then they're letting everyone, I remember I answered, I was like, what healthy dish am I gonna eat today? And they're like, no, she thinks I have to poop,
It's true.
And so this tech savvy description that you got for the audition, the character, a lot of people are going to miss that. They're going to go, oh, she's smart. Oh, should I wear glasses? Oh, should I do this?
They were coming in like office wear.
Oh,
and I remember,
right.
I remember being like, nah. So I chose this hot pink body fitted jumpsuit, pearls, hoops, long coat, designer bag. I walked in heels, and I remember the waiting room. It looked like we were on the wrong, we were in different auditions. The girls were like in, secretary, glasses, dresses, conservative things. And I was like, oh shit, like, did I get this wrong? And then by then I just had to own it. I was like, this is who she is. I've committed. And then it ended up like working because like who says, also that's something I love about my character. Who says that you can't be smart, unapologetically smart and brilliant, and also love fashion. Yeah. And also be girly and also be sad and vulnerable. Like, you know what I mean? It's not just one thing. And so you have to, I love it.
Layer it, texture it, and have the confidence to do that. Damn, I love that story. I remember that when you went in the room and you're like, I went to an audition yesterday for like a sporty spot. Yeah. And every single girl in the room had a hair tie-in. And, in a pony. And I didn't. I just had it like down and back. But I was wearing like sport attire, and my thoughts, I need a rubber band.
Yeah.
Literally, I text my boyfriend. He dropped me off. I'm like, do you see a rubber band in the car? And then I was sitting there and I was like, no, Natalie, like, let's not be like every other person in the room. And then I had this idea that at the end of the audition, I could pull my hair up because she's in the, it's like it was like a 6-part audition. And so I ended up going down to the car and grabbing the rubber band and then, having it down the whole time. And then at the end, she has this realization, and then it was like, put my hair up. So it was like something like a fun thing, but it is weird how our mind goes to like, but I was like, no, gotta own it, whatever. You're gonna be the only one with wavy hair down, whatever.
Honestly, people like hair. I know that sounds weird, but like, when you pull your hair back, I think it's hard for them to imagine you with hair. Well, so you got to show them the hair and then take it away.
I agree. And also, who says a professional soccer player, which was the character for the spot, doesn't wear their hair down? Yeah. Especially on the weekends. She wasn't even playing on the field. Oh, no. So you know what I mean? It was so interesting. I love learning. I feel like I just learned something from you. I'm learning a lot from you. But
thank you.
Just kidding. We have to deal with a lot of rejection, and there's some basic things we can say about rejection, but I'm more curious, like, how do you deal with it now? How do you deal with imposter syndrome? Like, I know that you guys, when you're a lead on, so Shannon is a series regular, the thing that her and I have been vying for 5-6 years. She booked it in 2020, and she's the lead on a huge CW show called Kung Fu. And during this time, you can still audition for movies. So how has that been? Have you felt more confident because you're working? I know it's a weird time because of COVID. I know that you shoot in Canada, so it might be a little different, but can you tell us anything about, like, I know you've talked about an imposter syndrome before.
For me, I don't know if imposter syndrome ever goes away. We can work on it because I think that's important to have some sort of balance between, humbleness and humility, and also knowing that you deserve things and you should be here. I remember even like till this day when we're in season 3 of Kung Fu, still waiting to hear if we have a season 4. But I remember the first season, everyone, and I think our whole cast, except for the adults, that was our first series regular together. Series regulars, all of us. And it was this shared experiences of like, we would walk through the set and be like, I cannot believe we're here. Like, I can't believe they hired us. Like, when are they going to find out that we're just like kids that don't know what the heck we're doing. But yet all of us, we have so much responsibility. And I think that grew, that faded away as you grow with confidence of like, oh, reassurance of like, oh, people watch the show. Oh, you know, we're renewed. Okay, so we know what we're doing.
Mhm.
And I think the more that we're able to have that experience and I guess confident. I mean,
Step into your power too. You're like, okay,
Exactly.
you know what? We are the next generation. We are talented. This is fun.
every
You
day
know?
I thought like, oh my God, are they gonna fire me today? Like, you know, but
God, what is
now
that? I have it too.
it, and you know,
So does Viola Davis. So like,
so it's okay. So we okay.
We good.
We okay. So recently it's I'm on a hiatus and I was recently offered to do a movie. And I remember when I first heard who the star was and the fact that I didn't audition for it, it was an offer. I remember being like, wait, what? Why? Like,
This isn't real.
this isn't real. Like, I'm still shook actually.
Where's
And
Ashton Kutcher?
I'm like, why me? Like, you don't even know, like, I didn't even read for this. Like,
I didn't have to beg for
I
this.
didn't have to beg for this. You didn't want to see me do it first, so
47
that you can
times?
judge, so that you can judge me and say nah.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, still to this day, I'm just I still can't believe it, and I'm waiting for the pin to drop and be like, JK, we found someone else. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
We found
I
out
understand.
that actually
that actually you were just the placeholder.
we watched a few more episodes of Kung Fu and we found out that, it's-
maybe this isn't
that you're faking it.
Yeah, you aren't the girl that
When
we want. So.
indeed, like, by the way, from an outsider, like, you are so talented. You always have been ever since I met you, ever since you worked in class. And you have so much special sauce that you bring to every audition that you do, every role that you do. You've been close on so many things. And I feel like no matter what, it's still, and I totally couldn't agree more, like, we can get as many tests as we want. And it's like, but why didn't I get chosen though?
Yeah.
You know?
It's either something, either I don't deserve to be here, but then you also think, wait, why didn't I get that? Because I think I totally could have done that. You're
Yeah.
always in that
Limbo
of like not knowing where you fit in or how you feel about things. But I think I kind of get numb now. Or like,
Yeah.
does this help you where you just learn how to be detached or how to be like finding the balance of I want this, but like I don't want it enough.
Yeah.
So I don't be disappointed
Well-
or fear of rejection. So then I don't want it.
Right, to
I'm not gonna
protect
get it.
yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was telling my boyfriend the other day, I audition and I actually forget about the audition completely. So even if I get a call, you got to call back for the, oh, for what? Like for
Yeah.
which one? I don't remember, you know? If I'm in the mix or I get close,
Yeah.
I definitely think about it for days and days. And if it's between me and one other person, I'm having extreme anxiety.
Mhm.
Oh my God, the heart is racing. I've never felt anything like it in my entire life. It is so, because it could be days too. I could
Yeah.
feel that way for a week. If you have a big screen test like the following week and you're just like, oh, the waiting to
The
hear
waiting game
back.
is the
And then
worst.
I think because of the chemical imbalances in your brain, when you're that high on adrenaline, when you get the no, for me, it's really like tears come out because I'm just literally physically like, whoa,
Mhm.
okay. Oh, I don't have to think about that anymore. / I'm really sad. / why not me? / I'm a terrible fucking actor.
/ give me the box of donuts.
Yeah. / I'm gonna stay in my yeah,
Mhm.
all these things. It's such a roller coaster.
I think that's why it's also important to like have things outside of career so that you could distract yourself during those times too, you know, because we could kill ourselves
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, all the
it's
time.
the worst. So
Yeah.
yeah.
How have you felt yourself like juggling that? Like, what do you do? Yeah, what self-care, mental health activities do you do to take care of Shannon throughout this wild roller coaster of pursuing an acting career?
I love to work out. I think I really do believe in like endorphins and like, you know, moving your body and blood flow and everything. I love dance. It's so nice. I was in Vancouver for a few years doing Kung Fu and the dance community is just not the same as in LA. So whenever I'm back now, I'm just like, give me all the dance classes. There's so many. And so like being able to find my love and enjoyment in that again is so nice. And spending time with my friends and relationships and my family. Thankfully, a lot of my friends and family and my network are in SoCal.
Mhm.
So I know not everyone gets to have that. So
Yeah.
I fully try to embrace that and spend as much time as I can with people. And I think that really helps. But I think it's important for people to do things that make them happy. That's not always career focused.
Yeah.
And I meditate and I actually have magic journals. And I did magic this morning.
Did you?
Yes. Yes, I did.
I love that. Did you write in your intent or anything about the podcast? You're like, I will have a seamless podcast conversation today. Well, that's
Yes,
good. That means you felt confident about it. You
I
didn't
know,
need
right?
a journal. You didn't need a magic journal about
Well, today, an affirmation today was, I am productive.
I love it. Hell yeah. I am productive.
I am productive. So,
That's
and then
a
I
good
just
one.
left it at that. And I was like, whatever happens. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
hell yeah.
But yeah.
Manifesting.
And by the way, I love everything that you're doing with magic and how much you inspire people. And it really is uplifting. And I love that you are working and hustling and entrepreneurship, that you're wearing so many hats, and at the same time you're inspiring others. And
Thank
I think
you.
I think it's so
I
nice.
have to
I'm so
stay
proud of you.
busy. Thank you. I love you. Outside of, acting, especially when you're not on a, show that's like I'm on a hiatus too. So it's like, what am I going to do during this time?
But I think that's great because you mentioned it before, because so many times I think people put us in this bubble or this box of that hat, and
Yeah.
you're doing it.
Yeah. So I know, right? Like it's also scary for us to do things or like for me at least, to do things outside of acting, right? Because of how people might perceive us and be like, oh, she wants to, be an Instagram influencer, then she's not an actor. Oh, she wants to be an entrepreneur. Oh, okay. Yeah. Go do that then. Go have your small business. You can't be a real actor. I mean, these are like limiting beliefs, but they're things that I think about, like limiting thoughts that I have in my day to day, right? This imposter syndrome of now that I'm wearing all these hats, it's like imposter on each one, right? Podcast host. Oh, but are you really that, enticing? Are you getting magic journals? Like, are you a business? Are you a CEO? Are people really going to listen to you? Your idea is not that great. Just limiting thoughts. And that's why I have to keep doing magic daily, like the actual physical journal, because I have to reprogram that subconscious mind to believe that I am a CEO, that I am the lead of a show, that I am a great podcast host. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you are. It's so inspiring. I think that's one of my favorite things about you is like you're very passionate, and as much as you think that you have these self-limiting thoughts, from what it seems like on the outside, I know you do a lot of internal work on it, but like you don't let that stop you. And I think that's why people gravitate towards you on you're able to get through that, and it's inspiring.
Oh,
Don't make me all.
Oh, you're so
Just
cute.
so happy for you. I'm
Shannon's
proud of
getting
you.
teary-eyed. Oh,
I get teary-eyed for everything. It's
helpful to be emotional as an actor.
Sometimes
Are
embarrassing.
you a Cancer?
Gemini?
Gemini. Okay.
But not the crazy time.
Okay.
The crazy time.
I got it. Copy that.
Yeah.
Well, I actually kind of want to know about social media a little bit.
Oh, okay.
How do you feel about it?
Oh God, I hate social media.
Okay.
I have social media anxiety on the
Okay.
daily.
Yeah.
I go back and forth as far as like exactly what you said. Of like, oh, if you post this one thing, you're gonna look like a wannabe influencer. Oh, you want to post this thing. People don't care about your life. Why are you posting that? Oh, that looks like you're trying too hard. There's like no winning.
Right.
And it's all just this
It's like,
curated
I'm gonna
thing.
delete it.
Yeah, I mean, like I should just like start posting of like my sandwiches or like the toilet or the mundane things that, you know what I mean? Just to like go against
Yeah.
a curated thing. But I acknowledge that, it is part of this business and your career. And I try to take the pressure off of just like, oh, this is my thing. Nobody cares. That's what I do every time I like post something and I'm getting stressed about it. Like I'm overthinking. I just go, nobody cares. Go, bye.
Post
Done.
it. Done.
Boom. And then I do hate sometimes how easy it is to scroll, and then I have to catch myself. I'm like, this is not productive. Goodbye. And it's like,
Yeah.
it can fuel comparison. I have a love-hate relationship with it.
Yeah. That makes sense. Me too. Very
Yeah.
much so. I go in and out of phases. So what I think about everything you're saying about social media, first of all, I agree completely. I feel the exact same way. I get anxiety about it. So I believe that the universe works in unison with us when we are our authentic self. Okay. So I've been doing this new thing where I'm like, if it's something that I want to post then post it. But if I'm thinking of like, ooh, people will like this, or like I need people to like this in order for me to be content about posting it, then I don't post that at all. So like if it is on contingent of how many people like it, if that's the only way I'm going to be happy about the post, then I can't post it. But if it's for me and me only, right? Like I love to bake. So if I'm posting about something baking, I know it's going to like make me smile. Look, I'm already smiling right now. Then I'm like, okay, post it. Then you don't I don't care if people like it. This is me, right? My authentic self. And I feel like I'm kind of on that quest of like, who am I? What is my authentic self? You know,
Right?
I mean, we all are,
It's a
but
never ending. I
it's
think
never ending.
people in their 80s are thinking that too, and we're like, great, it's a never ending.
Yeah,
We're
great,
just not gonna
awesome.
find it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's my newest thing. I don't know if that's helpful, but that's like something that I've been trying to do, right? Or if I'm posting something on my story and I'm like, oh, this is so cool because it's trending, or I'm trying to be like this girl that I just saw post this. Unless I'm doing it in an authentic way where I'm like, I really liked her morning routine post. I'm going to try to, recreate that. Imitation is art. Like I'm going to try to imitate that. That sounds authentic to me. Then you know what I mean?
A healthy balance too is to, like, when you're looking at things and your friends' lives and like your co-workers, networks, peers, anyone, if you're genuinely feeling positive when you're looking at things, like be mindful about what you're feeding yourself. I love the good movement type of news, because then I'm like, yeah, social media like is making me feel like, nice. But then if somehow I'm coming into contact with someone's post that made me feel like insecure or compared to, or why didn't, you know what I mean? All those negative thoughts, I'm like, you don't need that.
Yeah.
Or questioning like, why do you feel like that? Like, actually, that's something you can work on, and like there's ways to not feel like that. And so it's just like checking in with like, what are these triggers that are using? If you're feeling happy for someone and I love to keep up with your life and I'm seeing this, like, then it's good. I feel like once it starts spiraling down, it's just like not necessary.
I love it. Getting deeper and deeper with the why.
Oh, the why.
Why do
are
I
you
like, oh, this feels good. Great. Like, yeah.
Because I want to keep up with my friends, and like this still makes me happy, versus I'm bored and I have addicted to just opening up my phone, and then I'm just like feeling terrible.
I guess it's like presence too. Being like present with like, I'm clicking on Instagram.
Yeah.
Let's see how it makes. I like to curate my feed too. Like I hide, even if they're my acquaintances, I don't want to unfollow them. I'll hide their posts and stories to protect myself from feeling any sort of negative way.
Yeah. I think it's important for people to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And you don't need to explain
No.
on like what, just
energetically, like I don't want to feel that right now. I want to I want to be productive in what I want to get done today, and that is going to definitively make me feel shitty about myself.
Yeah.
Okay, well, one thing we didn't touch on that I definitely want to touch on, which was like a little bit back in the conversation, is just about auditioning and being put in a box. And I feel like that's something you and I can have like a fun conversation about. So while you're auditioning all these years and you're still auditioning now, okay, the breakdowns of characters, for anyone who doesn't know, a show comes out and all the character breakdowns come out onto a list that our agents and managers receive, and they look at the character breakdowns and they see which one fits their client best. So my agent and manager are looking for things that are fitting a young, used to be teenage, now I don't know, young,
You can still do teenage.
Yeah, young teenage 20s woman, Latina. And your agent and manager are looking for what?
Ooh.
In the breakdowns.
Something similar, but Asian.
Okay. So those are called boxes.
Yes, this is a box that we must check off.
Yes, that we are put into, which is such a shame. I remember when we were auditioning back in the day, and you would call me, and one day you were like, it has stuck with me forever. And it probably hasn't been as, I don't know if you remember this conversation as much. I think I've brought it up to you recently, but you were just like, oh, I love getting auditions for me that say Asian in the breakdown, because I know that I have a chance. And when it says open ethnicity, they're most likely going to go with a white girl. And I remember hearing that and being like, fuck, that's so true and so hard, especially when you're putting yourself out there in an audition and being vulnerable and getting excited and all these things. And we were in no place to turn down auditions. So I just remember you saying that, and I'm kind of wondering how you feel about that now. And I'm sure things have shifted. I think now maybe you might be more excited about getting an open ethnicity audition, you know? But back then that was definitely in your young mind. And
Yes, I think I think I remember that conversation. We were like maybe like 2016, 17, like we were in class and auditioning, and like at that point it was like we were just auditioning and throwing whatever sticks, like nothing stuck.
we were grateful to get
We were
auditions.
just pure like, what a win.
What a win.
I remember because this was before also there wasn't many breakdowns and characters that said like they specifically wanted Asian. And if they did, it was like the best friend and she had to be like weird or nerdy or something that was like not very fleshed out and like very
Complex.
one very not very dimensional. Not very dimensional. Yeah, that makes sense. And I remember when Crazy Rich Asians came out, everybody was like, whoa. And then all the Asian actors were just like, yeah, this is possible. And from then on, I remember even when Kung Fu, the reboot breakdown first came out, it was they were looking for a cast full of Asians. And I remember being like, that never happens. And I was like, I'll play any of them, please. Like you don't need just one token. And I think
Right.
for so long being a minority and in a specific niche kind of creates this feeling of tokenism, scarcity. And so when you take that little scarcity and then you would read breakdowns that said open ethnicity, you're like, oh, all these little scarcities and minorities have to compete. And I remember just being, oh, well, I'm never gonna get that because also I didn't, have the confidence and things have progressed. But fast forward to Kung Fu, it's crazy, is the first predominantly Asian cast for a drama series on broadcast television. So that's crazy, right?
I just got the chills. That's insane.
That's insane.
It's 2023.
Yeah. And at 2020, like that was us. That's why it was such a big time. And I think that's also why our cast gets along so much is because we have that mutual understanding of like, wow, this is bigger than us. This is groundbreaking and we're all here for a bigger purpose, not just like a job. And it just happened to be like our biggest job, And so now I think the industry has progressed and you see it in the breakdowns, there's a lot more diversity happening, inclusion, which is great. But sometimes, and now I see open ethnicity, I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because now we see lots of examples of whatever that looks like and like
the different roles people can play.
And I've already played something now, my character on the show where she was an Asian girl, but like so was everyone else. And I was no longer defined by my ethnicity. And
How
it was
freeing.
just a character. It was so freeing that now I have this confidence of like, yeah, this is who she is and what I can play. And then if that fits in alignment with everything else, like then that's great.
Yeah.
But now, because representation was kind of so talked about at first because of our show, it was a lot of pressure. It was like the first, that now sometimes I see if I get auditions that just say Asian, I kind of deflate now. Not deflate, but it's the balance of like, oh, so am I, because I was on a show with a cast full of Asians, am I now typecast as just only roles for just Asian? Like it went the opposite way. I'm like, oh, now I can only play a role where they need an Asian girl. And I was like, well, that's limiting in itself. And so it's this whole cycle of like,
I know for me, as far as being put in the Latina box, it was like, I am not just Latina. So it's like super limiting because they won't see me for anything else. And also there are no series regular roles. I mean, I don't see the breakdowns daily, but there are no Armenian series regular roles or Armenian, Italian, Peruvian, right? Like it just doesn't exist. And so I am Latina, I'm Peruvian. That is the Latina in me. But I was put in a box at 18. I remember the day. They're like, oh, you, perfect. They were literally like, Latinas are up and coming. You're a young teen. You look young. You look great. This casting or this manager that I went in to meet with when I was 18, she was like, yeah, you're fresh face. Go memorize this. Bring it back in 30 minutes. And, you know, we'll see. I come back, I do it. And she's like she just saw me as this, like, she's like, oh, perfect. You know, I know exactly where to place you is what I'm trying to get at. And, you know, again, grateful. Like, we're just there trying to work and do what we love to do. And so, you know, as you get older, you kind of start realizing these things and you're like, okay, but how can we be the change makers now?
I think, okay, going back off of that, also the box also happens in the dance world. I will say that. You talking about the modeling, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And you having that ingrained thing at 18, you know, it was the same thing also with the dance. Literally, they would call the blondes out to go all at the same time. The brunettes, the Asian girls that were like yellow skin tone, and then Asians that were tanner. Like it's always been a box of something that I felt like maybe I subconsciously embraced and also contributes to the scarcity and like lack of, because you feel like you need to be the best in your box, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and like
absolutely.
that's awful and negative as well. I think things that we can help to change is yes. I think maybe not worrying about fitting into a box and being your authentic self. And I think that's something I love about, you know, telling ethnically diverse storytelling is that because we do break those stereotypes and we normalize. And I think media is such a great opportunity to normalize other ethnicities and typecasts and people in boxes, because
one day we're all going to look the same. We're all going to be so diverse. I can't wait. Fun.
It's just a melting pot. And I think, I think we are progressing and we're making waves with that. So I think
for sure, that's another thing to look at is like, we are absolutely progressing, like 100%. And I'm grateful to be alive right now. And I'm excited to see what that looks like, you know, in 10 years. I think the opportunities I've been given now are more than I would have gotten, you know, 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah, totally.
The good news is when I was auditioning up and coming, I actually didn't know that I was like even really put into it. Right. This is all hindsight.
Yeah.
I didn't think these things in the moment.
Yeah, I'm just Natalie.
Yeah. I was so like, and my mom, you know, she was like, you're great. You're so cute. Like you're, you know, so I'd be like, I'm just a cute little girl auditioning, like trying to book stuff.
You are.
Yeah. And I never thought that I, you know, was being put into a box except when I would get auditions that were like super Latina forward, I felt a little uncomfortable because I am from Orange County, right? I don't speak Spanish. So it's like, I would be very vocal. I'd be like, hey guys, like, I don't know about this one. Like, let's let someone do it who feels a little bit more comfortable and like speaks Spanish, or they've maybe lived this, you know, life. And I'm all for acting, right? Because that is what we do. We act in different circumstances that aren't our own. If I was only auditioning for things of like young girl born in Orange County who's Latina and Armenian, like that
so hard.
It'd be so hard.
Yeah.
So like,
and you don't speak Spanish.
I don't speak Spanish. Yeah.
I don't speak Mandarin. I mean, I can try, but like that's also hard where it's like they want you to, especially I would get in my early days, it's like, can you put on an accent?
I remember.
Like, oh my gosh. No. I'm like, no, I just will not come off like, no, that's just terrible. And also it would look so phony. You know what I mean? And my Mandarin would look phony. And like there was this pressure to like know martial arts because you fit into this box. So if you had to do this. And so like even till this day, sometimes I'm like, oh, they want an Asian girl, but like I'll read the story. I'm like, oh, I'm not Asian enough.
Yeah.
Or oh, they want this character. Oh, I'm too Asian. You know what I mean? Or like they assume that because you're an ethnicity, the language also comes with it.
Yeah.
And it's like you're at a detriment if you don't know the language.
Yep.
And it's like, that's so unfair.
I'm not going to go learn like, yeah, it would be so fake. I might as well learn Italian or Mandarin.
Yeah.
Or
my
whatever.
Spanish is better than my Mandarin.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I remember those days when we would get those auditions though, and I would go to, I'm sure you did too. You tried to learn Mandarin, right?
Oh, like a dialect coach. And I'd be like listening to the recording. I'd be like,
yeah.
it's so bad. But like I can, yeah, it's bad.
But it's not. I mean, it's not. It's also something to be said for like doing a dope ass role that we love and that we feel connected to, and learning a dialect. Like, you know what I mean? I am so for that.
Yes.
It's just a matter of, right, there's gray area.
Yeah.
And that's up to us to, again, feel authentic about,
yes.
feeling our intuition. Like, hey, that this feels good. This kind of feels like me. I would actually enjoy to learn part of this culture, and I don't, it won't offend anyone. Like, you just kind of take matters into your own
I am
hands.
in Mandarin classes because I do genuinely,
Yeah.
want to get better and
Yeah.
all that. But, and it's a funny balance.
It is. It is a funny balance that we are getting better and better at.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Shannon, thank you so much for coming on today. I really enjoyed chatting with you about all things acting. And I feel like we just scratched the surface of like what it means to pursue this crazy career for the last, 8-10 years. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. And once again, I'm so proud of you.
Thank
And it's so amazing to see you flourish and inspire others. So thank you for letting me be part of your journey.
Thank you. Where can people find you?
Ooh, I'm in Los Angeles. No, I'm just kidding. Social
My
media.
address
My address is Social Security. Well, I am on social media, Instagram at Shannon Nikki Dang. I'm on Twitter.
You are?
Nikki Vaguely.
Vaguely. Okay.
I post about my sandwich every now and then.
I love
and
it.
how great it is. But yeah, so stuff
Cool.
like that.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for listening today. And if you enjoyed the podcast, please send it to a friend and definitely rate and review it. See you next week.